Hello Virgo, and welcome to your lunar cycle insight video for the cycle beginning with the new moon in Aquarius the visionary on the 4th of February. So this is a exciting month where things can be moving forward a lot more rapidly than they have been previously. All planets are moving direct throughout this lunar cycle until we approach the Pisces new moon in March. So this is a brilliant time for us all to think about initiating the new. Aquarius is the sign that sees the bigger picture. It sees the big vision. So this is a time when ideas and inspirations about how we can move forward can come down into our consciousness, and the energy of all of the planets moving forward really supports us in setting things into motion. So for you, Virgo, this new moon will fall in your 6th house, which is traditionally actually ruled over by Virgo and Mercury. So it's a harmonious energy for you. And it's in the sign of Aquarius, as I've mentioned. So this moon will be offering you the energy of renewal and regeneration in the area of your day-to-day work, your service work, and your health and well-being. So this is a time when you can start to think about initiating new beginnings in your health and diet. So it's a good time for you to start a detox, to start a decluttering, to start a new system of organization or a new routine. And it's also a good time for you to make changes in your work life. So in the birth chart, we have the 10th house, which rules over our career, our purpose, our ambitions, how we are seen in the world. And the 6th house is the work that goes on almost beneath the surface, the day-to-day effort that we put into building our dreams and career. So it's the day-to-day, minute-by-minute steps that we take to build our big visions and dreams. So you, Virgo, who are very in tune with the energies of organization, very in tune with the ability to critically assess and take care of the details, this is a perfect new moon for you to start thinking about implementing a new way of doing things that will support you in building the big dreams that you wish to achieve over the long haul. So it's a very exciting new moon, and like I say, it naturally awakens some of your inherent Virgo traits. So it can feel harmonious, it can feel fresh, it can feel stabilizing and supportive for you. So we open the month on that note. On the 10th of February, the next big change is Mercury, your ruler, heading into Pisces, your opposite sign. So Mercury is going to be in Pisces for a long time because he's going to station retrograde on the final degree of Pisces on the 5th of March, just as the Pisces new moon rises. So the energy that we are working with Mercury and Pisces from the 10th is giving us insights into the clearing process that will happen when Mercury turns retrograde. So for you, Virgo, this can be very much about balancing your relationships, and that can be one of the themes this month as well, with the full moon in your sign. And of course the sun is going to join Mercury in Pisces, your opposite sign, in the 7th house as well, on the 18th of February. So a lot of this month is about you finding harmony and balance between your needs and the needs of others. It can be a time when you might need to speak up, to share some of your deep emotions, to share some of your thoughts and feelings with other people in order to maintain that harmony. It can also be a time when we are attracting new people, new opportunities in our life, because we kick off this cycle with Aquarius, who brings people together in community and connection. So we could be meeting people that could become significant to us or offer us opportunities during this Piscean period. But we also need to be very aware that we are using our discernment, which is something else you're very good at actually, Virgo, using our discernment to know if this is the right thing, the right opportunity, the right person to engage with, because it will come up for review, it will come up to be looked at when Mercury goes retrograde. The next shift comes around the 13th and 14th of February, Valentine's. So Mars has been moving through Aries in your 8th house since the beginning of the year. So this can be a deep transit because Mars naturally rules over, is the ancient ruler actually of the 8th house. And this is the house of the birth chart where we die to the old self, where the ego dies and we are reborn anew. It's the underworld journey that we all take at certain points in our evolutionary cycle, as reflected by transits in the 8th house quite often. So you may have felt like there was a lot of old buried stuff coming up for release during this period. You may have felt like you were, diving deep into your most hidden fears and desires, because Mars in Aries is a great initiator of desire. So this could have been quite an intense period for you, Virgo, of uncovering the shadows and fears that surround your ability to set the new into motion. So as Mars prepares to go into Taurus, he's going to conjunct with Uranus, who's been in this space of your birth chart for the past 7 years. Uranus is also preparing to shift into Taurus. He's going to do so around the Pisces new moon. So we've got a lot of activity going on in the next new moon. So it's really good that we have a little bit of a break this cycle. But Mars will conjunct with Uranus, and this can be an energy of fierce liberation. So we're liberating ourselves from our fears, from our hang-ups, from perhaps we are liberating ourselves from old intimate connections as well, because the 8th house is the house that is very concerned with how we intertwine with each other on an intimate level. So if there's any old memories or any old connections that you feel you need to let go of, any old attachments to past lovers in particular, this can be a time when, there's this revelation, this change in consciousness that helps you to really do that and to really process that. Mars, fresh from his conjunction with Uranus, which will be the final time that this will happen for another 84 years, so it's quite significant. On Valentine's Day, he's going to separate and he's going to come into Taurus. So this is a nice earthly energy. It's supportive for you, a fellow earth sign. And this is going to be a journey that takes you through the energies of your 9th house, Virgo. So the 9th house is very much concerned with, in a similar way to Aquarius, the big vision, the big picture. It's the house where we reach for our hopes and goals and dreams, our highest aspirations. It can be a house that's very connected with ancient wisdom, with spiritual knowledge and teaching as well. So this Mars in Taurus here can really energize you into channeling your power and passion into studying about something that you're interested in, something which helps to elevate your perspective or evolve your consciousness, open your mind to new things. The shadow of that, because Taurus is quite a fixed sign, a fixed energy, is that we may also become aware of where we're very rigid in our thinking. And Virgo, you think in a very linear, logical way. So this can really make you aware of where you're being a little bit inflexible, where you're not seeing the opportunities or you're not wanting to change. And this can remind us that all change takes place on a mental level first. So what beliefs do we have, particularly around the Taurian themes of self-value, self-worth, finances, resources, that need to be shaken up a little bit? Because next month, as I say, Uranus comes into Taurus, so the breakthroughs are coming and Mars is paving the way this month. Okay, so we then find ourselves coming to the full moon in your sign on the 19th of February. So as I said earlier, on the 18th, the sun comes into Pisces, your opposite sign, joins Mercury in your 7th house. And as she shifts signs, she opposes the moon, who is coming into Virgo. So we're still in this series of moons which are taking place in the early degrees of each sign. So as soon as the sun changes shines, we have a full moon in the opposite sign. And this month, that is yours. And it's a super moon as well, Virgo. So it's amplifying the energy even more. And when we have a full moon in our sign, which happens every year, you know, in the time of February, March for you, every year we have a full moon in Virgo that initiates a wave of cleansing, a wave of release, a wave of purification and detoxification. So these are energies that you are comfortable with, but it can also make you very aware of your own ingrained emotional patterning, of the things that you need to let go of on an emotional level, Virgo. So for you, we're looking at the sun in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces, calling you into an energy that you're not necessarily as comfortable with. It highlights the areas of your life, and particularly your relationship with yourself and others, where you may be not allowing yourself to let go. Pisces is the opposite sign of Virgo, whereas Virgo likes to know the details, it likes to control, it likes to plan. Pisces is the sign of surrendering into the flow, of trusting in the universe, in Goddess, whatever name you use for the omnipotent energy. And it makes you very aware of areas of your life where you might need to surrender a little bit more, you might need to let go a little bit more. So this can be a powerful time for you of really letting go of the restrictions and limitations you put on yourself, letting go of that need for perfection, which is so inherently Virgo and is of course part of the gift that you came to share here when you incarnated as a Virgo person. But if that energy is turned inward on itself, we can become very hard on ourselves, we can become hard on others, we can become self-critical, we can try and force ourselves to live up to unreasonable standards. So it can be a time when you are becoming aware of how much that you do that to yourself, and coming into a space of deeper love and compassion and forgiveness for yourself and any perceived failings that you feel that you have. And this is particularly true because Chiron is also finishing up his stay in Pisces in your opposite sign. And he has been there in your 7th house since 2011. So you have been learning a lot of your deep karmic lessons through your connection with others during this period. Chiron might have had you attracting all kinds of broken souls, or you know, really making you look at your own unconscious patterning through the mirror of another, and also making your boundaries porous you know, really kind of feeding into that energy of service and sacrifice that is the shadow of this Virgo Pisces polarity. So as he finishes up his transit through Pisces during the beginning of this month, he's going to actually move into Aries at the time of the full moon as well. So it's a huge time of release, this full moon in your sign. So in the build up to this moon, you might be becoming very aware of these old patterns and really looking at how you can let go of old karmic connections in relationships, how you can let go of old self-sabotaging ways of behaving and relating to other people before Chiron heads into Aries. So he's going to cross that threshold as the full moon rises, and he is going to move into your 8th house, where he will be till 2027. Now, he dipped into this space of your birth chart last year between April and September. Then he retrograded back into Pisces, back into the 7th. So we've had a little bit of a glimmer of what Chiron in Pisces might mean for us. And for you, it's very, very much about claiming back your power, as it is for all of us. You know, Chiron in Aries is going to be really upgrading us away from that victim savior consciousness and into claiming our right to be ourselves, to co-create our life in ways that fill us with excitement and desire. But particularly for you, it's coming to heal wounding in the scorpionic areas of your life. So healing your relationship to your sexuality and sensuality, healing your relationship to your shadow. And interestingly, our shadow is quite often where we find most of our power. You know, it can be a real journey of soul retrieval that you are going to be undertaking, Virgo, over the next 7 years. And when a planet first changes signs, that's when we get that kind of flash of foresight to say, okay, these are going to be the core lessons of the next the next 7 years. So really pay attention to what is rising up for you around this time. It's a big shift. Chiron is a quite unpredictable energy on some levels, and you know, it's going to be a big release for you as he crosses that threshold out of your opposite sign. So let's pick a card for you, Virgo. These are the Sacred Rebels, which by Alana Fairchild, which I always use when I'm talking about Aquarius and Uranus, because yeah, they're the liberators. Interesting. So this card has got a beautiful owl on it, and it is called After the Storm. And this card is all about not fearing change. It's indicating that when we go through stormy periods of our lives, we quite often can't understand the reasoning. We can't see the bigger picture as to why we might be experiencing turmoil or change. And then after the storm clears, everything is fresh and new again, and we realize, okay, I had to let that go so that I could embrace my new beginning. That really wasn't serving me, even though I was frightened to let it go. And it can also be a message of staying calm in the center of the storm as well. So it can be that energy of allowing your life to flow and change without being overly attached to the outcome of the changes or upheaval. So this card for me is a message to you to say that after that full moon, if things do rise up, just let them do Pisces, let them move through, let them flow through, let your vessel be cleared. And really, Virgo, always come back to that loving and forgiving yourself knowing that you are doing the best you can in every moment, that you are fine just as you are. This could be a good month to practice some self-love work. So thank you so much for listening to me, Virgo. If you would like to connect with me further, you can click the links below this video. I am wishing you an amazingly transformative lunar cycle and a beautiful, blessed inbox season.